Well, I'm off to an eye doctor's appointment today. I've had these glasses for about 3 years, and one of the things that you realize is that your eyes start to change as the years go on, and I've reached a point where you just wake up one morning, all of a sudden you realize, oh wait, my glasses are so scratched up, it's messing up my vision, or my prescription has probably changed in these 3 years, and so I don't even realize how bad I'm seeing. So I'm about to go and go through that exam and try to figure out which one looks better, and take that anxiety-ridden test of trying to figure out which prescription I need, which one looks better, that kind of thing at the eye doctor, so that I can get my vision back on track. You ever realized how life is like that also? You can have a vision and you can have a focus of something that you're driving towards, but then all of a sudden, after sitting on it for years or thinking the same thing for years, you can realize that you've kind of grown accustomed to that vision, and the vision has distorted and it's not the same that it was. And there's a lot of times that you need that time where you just renew yourself back to that vision and that focus. Are you at a point in your life like that where you need to return back to what the point was and remind yourself of what your focus should be, to retest your vision to make sure that you're seeing the way that you should be seeing?
Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum.
Now, this vlog is about Greensburg, and it is about great things to do in Greensburg, fun events, getting involved, and all of that, but that's not just what it's about. I told you in the beginning, what this vlog is really about is about the church becoming relevant in the community. See, I believe that the church has a place in the community, and Greensburg, I am so excited to tell you that something really big in my mind is about to happen in Greensburg. I want to introduce you to this idea. I want to tell you about it, but for that, we've got to go to St. Clair Park, and I've got to introduce you to one of my newest friends in Greensburg, someone that I've absolutely loved getting to know. So we're here with Pastor Dale Adams of Life Spring Church. I met Pastor Dale about 6-7 months ago, I guess. Somewhere around there. And the reason that we met was because our church wanted to do everything we could to reach out to the pastors in Greensburg, and you're one of the only pastors that responded to that. And so we had breakfast, and I have enjoyed getting to know Pastor Dale. He has become one of my favorite people here in Greensburg, and a huge help. But let's start here. Why don't you tell me a little bit, first of all, about you, how you ended up in Greensburg, a real brief history, and then about Life Spring.
Okay, I've been here for 19 years. I came up here to help plant a church. A pastor that I met in West Virginia, where I'm originally from, asked me to come up here, and I did. A couple years after that, he retired and turned the church over to me, and I've been there ever since. It's called Life Spring Christian Church.
You recently came to us with an idea that kind of was birthed in your church through some people, and that idea was for this thing that we're now calling One Event. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that and what the dream and the vision in general is for that?
Well, it started just with a book that I read called Attack Lambs. It's just about how to take a city, how to reach a city, and what needs to be done prayer-wise to break principalities, powers, strongholds, spiritual wickedness in high places. Because we know that we live in a spiritual world, and there are spiritual forces that we don't fight against flesh and blood. And then as I was just pondering that, and just realizing that whenever Paul wrote the letter to the Ephesians, he didn't write it to a church building. He wrote it to a group of people meeting in different places throughout the city, and that was the church. And I believe that in Greensburg there is a church that has a voice. And I thought if we could just come together as one voice to just pray for our city. And that's what I've enjoyed about getting together with the pastors that you've kind of collected together. I feel that we have that same heart, that we are more about the city than we are about our individual churches.
Let me break in right here just for 1 second, because you may be watching this video, and I know what a lot of people are thinking. They're thinking, I thought that churches, what they did is they tried to get people to go to their church. That is how the church survives and it exists, is it not? yes, that is how the church survives and exists, and yes, that has been the goal of churches, but what I'm trying to submit to you right now is that I don't believe that has been the best goal, nor is it the goal that I believe that the Bible drives us towards. See, I believe that the Bible unites us on a front of Jesus' last words before he went back to heaven, and those words were, "Go into all the world and make disciples." See, the number one goal of the church should not be to grow the church, but to make disciples.
That is kind of how it was birthed, and that was kind of how we want to push it as this united church front coming together just to pray for our city.
This culture that we live in, it seems like in the world that we live in, no one agrees about anything. So why is one event, why is it so needed right now, and what message do you think it sends to everybody else out there?
There's two key scriptures I think we need to kind of play off of. One in Jeremiah, where he instructs the children who are in exile, children of Israel, to pray for the prosperity of the city that they're in. It's a foreign city, it's a godless city. There's a lot of things wrong with it, but he said, if you pray for the city and for the peace and the prosperity, it will go well for you. So that's one scripture. The other one is Psalm 133:1. How good and pleasant it is when brothers dwell together in unity, because there God commands a blessing. Whenever God sees unity, it captures his attention. And the Bible says that he commands blessing. He doesn't just give it, he doesn't just dole it out. I believe that when he sees people who are working together in unity, that blessings follow.
How do you feel that message is different than what the world is hearing about churches right now?
Well, let's just talk about churches in Greensburg. Being an outsider coming in, you're an outsider coming in. Several of the pastors that we meet together with are outsiders coming in, and I just see disjointed churches, and I really see a lot of people disenfranchised with the church, and I think a lot of that has to do because we don't work together in the unity that we should. And you know, I'm Pentecostal, you're Baptist. We get along okay, don't we?
Yeah. Over Thai food especially.
That's right. And but the one thing that every denomination has in common is that thing of prayer. We can all pray, and it has nothing to do with denominational or affiliation or our theology or anything. It says, if my people called by my name will humble themselves and pray, it says he will hear us. So if that's the only thing we can agree on, then let's do that thing.
There's three parts to one event. The first part is the 30-day prayer devotional that will go on 30 days before the event that happens on September 7th right here in St. Clair Park. And then September 8th will be the individual churches doing their thing that kind of goes along with that also. So why don't you tell me, this is a resource that you gave me, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what this is and how it fits into this?
A good friend of mine, Bob Santos, wrote this book as a community prayer devotional. It's a 30-day devotional, and they used it up in Indiana, Pennsylvania, and it just was so successful that it actually birthed a unified prayer movement that still gets together, a year and a half later. And they usually have 10, 11 churches coming together and 80 to 100 people on a monthly basis coming together to pray for the city. So this just gives us a guide. It gives us some continuity that we can all be praying the same prayer, all be praying for the same things. And again, it's unity, one voice and one prayer. And it just leads us up to that event that's going to be happening here at St. Clair Park.
So there are going to be people that watch this that maybe go to a church or maybe can buy into this idea and believe into this idea, but their church isn't necessarily one of the ones that has signed on. So how can they get involved?
Absolutely. Yeah. Anybody who wants to pray can join us. And what you do, you would go to ToGreensburg.com and have all the information about our prayer events, our unified prayer events, ideas about how to pray for the city, and just it keeps you on track with those 30 days leading up to our prayer event.
And currently, I know that we're still talking to churches and getting them involved, but currently we have 6 churches involved, and I'm really excited about that. That's a neat thing to see, and a couple more in the works, maybe joining in soon. So I'm really looking forward to this. We'll be talking more about the actual event that happens here as time goes on and it gets planned. This prayer devotional, the 30 days before, will start August 8th, August 10th, something around there, depending on how the churches want to do it. And then there'll be a lot more that'll come out from this later on, right?
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Well, Pastor Dell, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate your heart, your vision, and what you're doing here. And Keystone Church is with you, and excited about what's going to happen here.
Well, I'm excited too. I mean, I just sense that this is a God thing. So let's just come together and just see what God will do.
So there it is. That's what you're going to hear a lot about in the next few weeks. One event will be happening September 7th as an event at St. Clair Park, where we'll have food and prayer and a worship service and all these other kinds of things. There's a lot of other things that we're planning around it. We need you to get involved. There's room for you. You can start praying with us in that 30 days, going through that devotional. Just contact us. Let us know. We'll get you the book. But this is something that I really, really believe in. I believe that this could change our city, and it's not a LifeSpring thing. It's not a Keystone thing. It is a kingdom thing of churches coming together, and we're going to start to reach out to our city by praying and calling out before God for our city. So if you've never subscribed to a channel before on YouTube, that's not like you, or you're not a technology-driven person, hey, why don't we become the first ones that you subscribe to? Go down below, right below this video, and hit that subscribe button. If you believe in this journey, you believe in what is about to happening, and you're excited about one event, why don't you go across to the other side and hit that bell and turn on the notifications for this channel, and as new videos come out, new ideas come out about this, you'll be able to follow along. Comment below. Let us know what you're excited about. Let us know what you think about this. Can the churches do it? Can they work together? Do you believe that this is even something that would change this city or impact our city? Get ready, Greensburg, because I really believe that this is going to be something huge that happens in our city. And I love this city. You know why? Because this is my city, Greensburg.